And we are back on the Sportsman Radio podcast show. I'm your host, Chris Shanafel, and I am now joined by former Northern Illinois linebacker Jordan Delegal to talk about the undefeated 8-0 NIU Huskies football team. Thanks for joining the show, Jordan. How's it going, man?
Man, it's a great time to be a Husky, man. I'm very blessed and definitely motivated by what my Huskies are doing. And we got this new Cheswick Center up and running, and it's a great time to be a Husky, like I said before. Thanks, Chris, for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure, and you know what? I bet it is a great time to be a Husky. I'm just a fan over here, but where to start with these NIU Huskies, man? How about the guy at the helm, Jordan Lynch? He had a hell of a year last year. Was 7th in the Heisman Trophy pool and helped lead you guys to the Orange Bowl, where you guys fell just short to E.J. Manuel and the Florida State Seminoles. This year, it doesn't look like Lynch and the Huskies even skipped a step, really. I mean, they've beat some pretty good teams, including opening the season with a victory over Iowa. What are your thoughts on Jordan Lynch and the NIU Huskies throughout the first 8 games? Like I said earlier, they're 8-0, man. They're hot.
Well, it's not even this season right here is definitely one that attributes to the work that we've done way back in the day. The energy that's in the program now, especially with the camaraderie of the guys and the leadership we hired from within after Coach Doyle left for NC State, but man, those guys are just playing lights out because they really trust each other. It's a family atmosphere, and even when I played, that's something that we've always had. I mean, I was a junior college guy, graduated from Joliet Junior College and went up when I was being recruited by NIU and a few other Division I schools. And I didn't take visits to those other places. I took a visit to NIU, and I immediately fell in love because it felt like it was high school again. I was playing with some guys that I knew that they would put it all on the line for me, and I would do the same thing for them. And that's what football teaches. Football teaches you more about life than I feel like any other sport does. But the main thing that I can say about this team, man, we have this red cry that we do after every win, and we say, we celebrate the hard way. We celebrate the hard way of doing things. You know what I'm saying? We're the first school, actually the last school to have an indoor built. Actually, it just was just open to the public this past weekend. But man, we glorify the hard way, man. If it's not the hard way of doing things, we don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that we win more from our losses. But when we do win, we're gonna win the hard way. And this 8-0 start is just a phenomenal thing to see and to know that we're the only school in the MAC that has a better winning percentage in the Big Ten than Big Ten schools. I mean, there's definitely something to hang your hat on and play with a chip on your shoulder. But Jordan Lynch he's a guy. And when I say that, he's just he's a guy that when he first came in, people didn't know who he was going to be behind Chandler Harnish. And, Chandler, I say he was one of the best players that I've ever seen in person and ever played with. And on and off the field was a great guy. But when Jordan Lynch came in, of course, he was an All-American. He played in the U.S. Army game as a safety. So when he came over, we were kind of questionable about what type of guy he was going to be. But seeing him develop before our eyes, and even getting the chance to see him a few weeks ago, I went back for homecoming. He's just a totally different guy. And he's developed in certain ways that people couldn't even imagine at first. But now he's definitely leading that ship down there. And the guys are rallying around the energy that he's had these past 2 years. And it's, like I said before, man, it's a great time to be a Husky. And I'm definitely proud and definitely proud to be a Husky.
Yeah, I could definitely tell by the sound of your voice that you are very proud to be a Husky, man. I love it. Week 7 against Central Michigan, Jordan Lynch sets a new single-game college football record for rushing yards by a quarterback as he ran for 316 yards on 32 rushing attempts. Now, that's impressive even if it's a running back, but like I said, this is a quarterback. My question to you, Jordan, is what do you think Lynch's, what does his future look like? This is going to be his last year at NIU. Does he get drafted into the NFL? Does he go undrafted? Does he even play quarterback? Like you mentioned, he was a safety in high school, played very well as a safety as well. What do you think, Jordan?
Well, Jordan Lynch, he has a very high ceiling. Unfortunately, the NFL has a certain prototype that works in the NFL and has worked for a long time. So I'm not necessarily sure if he's going to play quarterback in the NFL. When you talk about the draft it's a tough call, man. Honestly, Chandler Harnish, like I spoke about him before. Chandler Harnish, our quarterback, the time that I was there, I mean, he did great things, man. Broke a whole bunch of records, and he let us. We had the best win percentage before Jordan came in and messed it all up, but he was drafted as the very last pick, and even before the draft, they said he was going to go in the third round. So you never know when it comes to the next level. So honestly, I just think that he should just get the best work that he can each week, perform at his highest each week to improve his draft stock, because in the American Conference, that's it's a lot of people don't necessarily respect the players that we have coming out of there, and we have it at each and every school, from the Bowling Green to the Toledos to the Akron, and we do have a lot of people in the NFL right now. But when it comes to being a quarterback, Julian Edelman, he was one of those guys that was a quarterback as well, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately now he's playing at receiver. I don't think Joe is a receiver, but he definitely could add value to whatever team or organization that takes a shot on him. But it's a tough call, Chris. It's definitely a tough call to see where he's going to go. But whatever he does or whatever team he decides to go to, I know the type of guy he is. You see what type of things he's capable of doing on the field, and wherever he goes, he definitely immediate impact.
Chris Schanfeld talking with former NIU Huskies linebacker Jordan Delegal. And Jordan, earlier you mentioned Coach Dorn, who's now with NC State. He was a great coach for NIU. Now we have Ron Carey as head coach. And they're, like we said, they're 8-0. Are you impressed so far with Coach Carey and what he's doing with the Huskies this season?
You know what? I'm definitely impressed with Coach Carey. When this Coach Dorn staff first came in, you as a player, you don't necessarily know what kind of coaches you're going to inherit. As a team, and it goes both ways. As a coach, you never know what type of players you're going to inherit, and as a player, you never know what type of coach's personalities you're going to inherit. But as soon as Coach Ron Carey came into the building and started meeting some of the guys, one of my best friends, Keith Otis, that played offensive line for Coach Carey, he was immediately impressed with his personality and his drive to win, and he puts players in the best situation to win games, and he definitely coaches you based on your personality and skill set. Those guys have rallied around Coach Carey, and they've done great things on the field up until this point, and they're really motivated by the recent successes, and it's kind of a tough job to develop, to inherit such a really, really good team, and, being that we were the first ever Mid-American Conference school to intrude the BCS, for lack of a better word, but Coach Carey has definitely taken that energy and taken last season and when he first got hired, and, having a youthful coach, knowing that, you can win this big with this coach. As a player, those are the type of coaches that you need, and those type of coaches that you can rally around, and you can engage on a day-to-day basis. And even when I went back for homecoming a few weeks ago, man, Coach Carey is still he looks the same since day one. You know what I mean? He's definitely rejuvenated and happy and excited about the program and the Cheswick Practice Center indoor, and it's something that the program and Huskies worldwide can definitely hang their hat on, because this program behind Coach Ron Carey and the coaching staff have definitely been doing some great things. So I'm definitely impressed. And impressed is actually an understatement of the joy I see on Saturday.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the NIU Huskies football team has definitely been put on the map. Jordan Lynch getting a ton of attention, well-deserved, by the way. But who else on this NIU football team has impressed you this season, Jordan?
Man, that's a great question. I would have to say all the Florida boys, man. You know, being a South Florida guy, man, you know, I hang my hat on there. I say the South Florida athletes are the best athletes in the world. Not just the nation, not just, you know, across town rivalries, but I say we're the best in the world. And one guy that jumped out to me is Tommy Lee Lewis, man. That guy is
Hell of a game on Saturday. Hell of a game.
Man, he's phenomenal, man. He has that it factor. You know, you never know what he's going to do with the ball when he gets the ball. But I mean, even in the Purdue game, I was watching, and I'm like, man, he's not going to. Oh my gosh, he is. Yes, he just ran that ball back. And you know, he has the capability of doing that every time. And the very first, I'm going to take you back a little bit. The very first time that he came on campus for our summer workouts, I think it was either Chandler or whoever the quarterback was at the time. We were doing pat and goes, and you know, after pat and goes, we do our one-on-ones, and the quarterback must have threw the ball about 50 yards out there, and Tommy Lee Lewis went and grabbed the ball. Like, he was the most, like, I've never seen somebody so small and so fast in my life that can just turn on the speed and stop on the dime. And I've seen it, and I was like, man, that's crap. I don't believe he just did that. And then he did. So, maybe, I mean, it seemed like it was too good to be true, but he did it in the Toledo game. He's done it in games before. And, I mean, this year he's just gone to another level. His skill set is definitely one of those things that he's matched. And if you are a defense, he's one of those guys that you need to, you know, schedule around. Obviously around Jordan Lynch, but, you know, secondarily, you know, you may want to have an extra defender for Tommy Lee Lewis.
And, of course, with you being a linebacker, I got to think, you know, being on the defensive side of the ball, I got to think you're thinking in your head when you're watching this guy play, man, I'm glad he's on my team.
Yeah, definitely. And even defensively, Jamal Bass, I've seen him grow up so much, man. And you know, he had a little rough career earlier. I mean, he had a little rough start early in his career, but he's definitely matured a lot. He's a guy as well. Offensively, you want to run away from him because, for one, he has, you know, he's fast. He's very fast. He's able to shed blocks, and you know, he's able to make plays on the ball as well. So those are two guys that I feel, you know, obviously, you know, they're Floridians, but you know, those are two guys that I feel have the best chance of, you know, going to the next level and even, you know, have impressed me on Saturdays.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now I'm looking here at the schedule, and the Huskies' remaining opponents are Massachusetts, Ball State, Toledo, and Western Michigan. I think those are all winnable games. You think they can finish 12-0?
You know, it would be un-Husky of me to say no. But I think that as a player and as a coach, you want to, you know, schedule game to game. We definitely don't want to look forward because they are all definitely winnable games, but they all, you know, they can drop them as well. Toledo definitely plays us tough every year. Western Michigan does as well. I'm not too familiar with the Massachusetts of the world, but I've heard they have some players as well. But they definitely have a chance to do it. But like I said before, you got to win week by week to get to 12-0. So, you know, we will remain humble and hungry, and you know, do this thing the way that we're used to doing it, the hard way. And if we got to go 8 overtime to each one of those games, you know, we'll do that. I mean, just to show the way we win things and the way that we do things.
Now, I know you want to take it week to week, but here's a big question for you, Jordan. Are we going to see the Northern Illinois Huskies in another bowl game this season?
Oh, yeah, bowl game for sure bowl game. But BCS, I would like to be Arizona for this one. I would love to be in Arizona for this one. But you never know, man. You never know. I think that with this last year of the BCS, and transition into the playoff system next year, you never know where we're going to end up. Right now, we're one of the last undefeated teams, and that's definitely something to hang your hat on, especially when you beat two quality teams in the Big Ten. And even with the close ones we have had, we come out with the W. It's a high feeling for the Huskies, man. I think that we can make it back to a BCS game, and I mean, opposed to last year, we will win a BCS game, especially if we do what we have to do and play Husky football.
And of course, they got to rock those uniforms they had last year against Florida State in the Orange Bowl. Man, I gotta say, those are the best uniforms. I don't want to hear Oregon. I don't want to hear any of these other teams. Those NIU Huskies football uniforms, I gotta say, were the best uniforms I have ever seen so far. And I know it's not all about uniforms; it's all about getting the win. But those were some icy uniforms.
Well, they put the trick out the bag that year, man. Last year, I kind of got an inkling that we were going to have it because Adidas, they gave a few other schools some new uniforms, and when we got our black uniforms a few years ago, we were like, man, this is it. Like, we love these black uniforms. We had the all black with the new helmets, and we got the gloves and the shoes. I'm like, okay, cool. But what's next? But for them to pull those uniforms out in the Orange Bowl, and I got the text. I think it was either the night before the game, or 2 nights before the game, and I seen the uniforms, and I nearly passed out. I was like, why didn't it happen for us? But I'm happy for them, man. I'm definitely not. Adidas definitely flexed their muscles on NIU this past year, but I'm excited to see what's next. I'm definitely excited to see what's next, especially with those 12-0 Huskies getting back into BCS again.
Hey, sounds great, and I'm happy. I'm very happy to see NIU. They're finally put on the map. They're getting the attention they deserve, and I think this is going to be a great season. I think they're going to finish it out strong. And Jordan, I gotta say, I really appreciate your time on the show today, man. Now, before I let you go, you have anything you want to plug on the air for myself and our listeners?
Guys, you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Deleboss, DELEBOSS_sports. But you guys a network anchor right now and doing some sideline reporting, so my media world has been upside down. It feels like my freshman year again, because I'm kind of raw. I've been kind of raw early in the season, but now it's starting to look like I have a future in this thing. Chris, what you think?
Hey man, you're doing good. I'm impressed.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you having me on the show, Chris. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for your time and take care, man. Keep in touch.
Yeah, will do. Have a good one.
You too.